My name is Steve Stratton. I'm 72 years old and I was born here actually the year after the greenhouse was built. So I've been here my whole life. When my father got back from World War II, he had gone to Westinghouse to work and didn't like it, and through a program through the government, took an internship at a greenhouse in Toledo and liked it, and came back to his dad and said, I'd like to build a greenhouse to grow tomatoes. And my grandfather said, I thought he was crazy, but I didn't tell him that. So they built the first greenhouses over there, supplying, as I remember, little grocery stores in Lima and Findlay, and there was one on every corner. And there was 3 in Bluffton, just little mom and pop grocery stores. And then in 1975, all of those greenhouses went out of business because of competition from Mexico and California shipping goods in, and all of a sudden, he was going to close it down.
I'm Susie Stratton. I am co-owner with my husband of Stratton Greenhouses and Roots by Stratton.
That way you can have it planted here. As long as you have buy your pot and plant here, we'll plant it for you. Awesome.
When I met him, I was Director of Career Counseling and Placement at Bluffton College at the time. He was a football coach. And we quickly realized I couldn't do my job and have a husband who owned a greenhouse and have any kind of marriage. So I quit my job, and I have an art and design background. And so I decided to help him with the design work at the greenhouse. We started out with 4. We now have 21.
I was working on a master's in education at Wright State University, and I tell people I was called back to the greenhouse. I said, Dad, would you like me to come back? Yeah. So we made a transition and started just growing bedding plants instead of tomatoes. And about that time, people were starting to use plastic flats, and Kmart got into it, and we grew with Kmart. And we expanded with the big boxes. We grew 100,000 poinsettias in here, and they would take at a store 1,000 at a time.
In 1977, after we got married, I wanted to open up an art store, but I also loved plants. Then in '79, we moved out to the country and we built our store out in the country, the gift shop. Since then, I've been wanting to get back to Main Street, and this opportunity came up back in 2018. And I've been in this location since 2019, right before COVID hit. We opened up November of 2019. I am a firm believer, as my husband is, that a beautiful downtown brings businesses into your community. That it's the care that you give your community that will resonate into full storefronts. In 2007, we put the first plants down Main Street. We were doing all of it on our own. We paid for everything. After everything crashed, we realized we could no longer afford to do it on our own. So that's when we came up with the idea of having sponsors. And we started out with just 12 pots. Well, the next year we increased our pots by 48. We were pretty much married to the big box stores in 2007 and 8. And when the housing crash came, they would cut your orders. And so you were left with thousands of plants that you couldn't sell, but they would not take as an obligation.
A lot of greenhouses like us closed. We borrowed as much money as we could, and then all of a sudden there was no cash flow. And then you had to figure out how to stop and keep on going.
So that left us with no income. So my husband and I decided we basically lived in one room of our house so we could cut all of our costs. We had people bring us food. Our employees volunteered. It was very hard.
probably the hardest 3 years of our life. But it was, because we lived in such a helpful, small community, we survived.
The recession hit even the big greenhouses, not just the small ones. As it hit, small mom and pop places, the recession hurt people.
People rallied around us, even though it was put out there that by everybody that we had gone bankrupt, and we hadn't. It had put out there that we were foreclosed upon, and we were not. And that was a very difficult time with all the rumors that went around. But miracles happened too. We owed our real estate taxes, and somebody showed up with that amount of money for our real estate taxes in an envelope.
So you're frugal, you hold on the years that are tough, you try to take advantage for yourself to make a little money on the years that are good, improve what you can, and keep at it. That's not much help, but that's kind of how I look at it. I'm on this for a ride, and I'm 72, like I told you. My dad was 71 when he died. And I plan on working as long as I can, as long as I enjoy what I'm doing, and I do, and try to make the world a little more beautiful, starting with Bluffton. That's all we can do.